In this video, I'm going over 6 must-have accessories for use with your table saw. So these accessories are pretty much universal to any type of saw. Even though some accessories may only fit your specific model of saw, the concept and the use of the accessories are universal. And before we start, I just want to mention that all of these accessories I will have linked down below if you're interested in picking them up for yourself. The first accessory is some sort of miter gauge or crosscut sled. And you don't need to get both. While having one of each is ideal and super helpful, you can easily make a DIY crosscut sled that will pretty much do the same thing as a miter gauge if you're just making straight cuts. A miter gauge is actually designed for just that, mitering something on the table saw using an angle besides exactly perpendicular to the blade, which is simply just a crosscut. In my case, I have a rather expensive Incra Miter 1000 that comes with a crosscut sled attachment, and I do use it since I have it because I bought it used and got it on a deal. However, most table saws come with a miter gauge straight out of the box, and I don't think they're the best quality, so I would recommend at least trying to DIY or make your own crosscut sled or miter gauge. And if you're looking to make a crosscut sled, I actually made a video on how to make one, and I will leave it linked right up there in the corner. If you want to invest some money for dead accuracy for fine woodworking, the Incra miter sled is something that I would absolutely recommend. It has micro adjustments for the length of the piece that you want to cut, as well as micro adjustments that can be made for the angle of cut that you're trying to make. And once those adjustments are made, it locks in place rock solid and does not move. And number 2 is an angle finder. I have 2 different versions here. One of them is analog and one of them is digital. While both of them will do the trick, there is a price difference between the two. I, however, would recommend spending a little bit more money and getting the digital version. And here's why. The analog version simply uses gravity to find the angle. And if your table saw is not dead flat on your dead flat floor in your dead flat floor shop, then this may not be accurate. You can make it accurate, however, when you put this on your table saw surface and reference 90, if it's not dead zero, if it's off by 2 or 3 degrees, you need to remember that when turning your blade to 45 so that you can account for that 2 or 3 degree difference. The beauty of the digital version is that when you magnetic it down to your table saw surface, even if it's not perfectly level, if it's off by 2 or 3 degrees, you can hit the 0 button and reset it to 0. So at that point, once you magneted it to your table saw table, you can put it on your blade, and that way you know that your blade is exactly 90 to your table, even if the whole unit is off a little bit. For both of these, it is worth mentioning that your table saw surface will need to be some material that is magnetic in order for these to work. If it's not magnetic, they can still work. Just make sure you're firmly holding them in place because they will not stick on their own. The next accessory is actually very simple, but I use it almost every single day, and it particularly gets its use if you do not have a zero clearance insert plate. If you have a standard insert plate that is not zero clearance, small pieces of material can fall down in there, and in my case, clog up your dust collector. So what is the accessory? A pair of long-nosed tweezers or some sort of really fine tongs. By using these, you're able to take your insert plate out, reach down in there with this, grab the small material, and pull it out. A lot of times that gap is not big enough to get your hand in, and if you're fishing for a small sliver of wood that's clogging up your dust collection system, you're not gonna be able to reach it with your bare hands. Accessory number 3 is the obvious push stick. Now this is one that I have made. I CNC'd out this design and have cut this out. It is very thin. Some people don't like that, but I am able to get enough stability when I need it. I just like that my hand is far enough away from the material and in turn far enough away from the blade. This handle is also super comfortable to use. And not that they're great quality, but most table saws come with a push stick when you purchase the unit. At the bare minimum, this will get you by until you're able to find something else. If you want to make a push stick, I have a template available for that on my website. I'll link it up here and down in the description. So the next accessory is actually a set of things, and they are setup blocks. Setup blocks are machined to be dead accurate with certain thicknesses, and I use these for setting blade height, especially if you're trying to cut a rabbet or a dado or something that does not cut the material completely into 2 pieces. And the last accessory, at least on this list, is an adjustable fence clamp. This is designed to work in conjunction with a piece of scrap wood by drilling a hole in the scrap wood, clamping this on the edge of your clamp in place so that this becomes a sacrificial fence that your blade can then cut through. These are typically used a lot when making rabbets on the edge of drawers, shelving, whatever it is. Obviously, your blade cannot cut through the metal table saw fence, so this is a good way to raise up a dado stack or even the standard blade and cut through the fence without damaging anything. Now, I realize there are way more accessories available for table saws that make your life easier, including dados and more. That may be for a separate video. These were just the first 6 that came to mind and I thought would be helpful to you. Again, find links to all these down in the description below, and I appreciate you watching. Hit the like button and subscribe. Take care.